last week, was this is another test. It's another obstacle for VERSO time to prove a point. And what better team to do it against than the number 2 team from the Philippines?
Number 2 from the most competitive region, but one of the strongest teams to ever play. I mean, for this year. That's what I'm talking about. Well, most dominant teams, right? When it comes to the draft, it's very difficult to solve what Aurora has always been doing. And will not be surprised if it will practically be the same. I believe that they played the Fredrin, right? The previous time that we saw them. So we might see another box type strategy here coming out from Aurora. And I'll just be waiting for some of the bands here. I'm actually looking up some of their past games for Aurora.
Yeah, for Aurora, I mean, even on both sides, like Rome is very important for both here in this matchup. Like I said, we'll see, but this could potentially just be a Baksha Prio for Demon Kite. We saw this previously as well. You know, with Aurora, I think they went the Fredrin that first game, and then after that they went Guinevere, I think it was. He played the Guinevere, which we're seeing more of, by the way. Like, we're seeing a whole lot of Guinevere on Stream A. And it seems to be working pretty well. Again, it's just kind of added crowd control on top of a lot of crowd control that's already thrown out, you know? So good to see. That'd be the priority right now. The Kimmy's going to get taken out, Kalea and the Fanny. On the other side, you get the Grok, the Eve. What's that last band going to be here?
Okay. If you're up against Aurora, you usually ban Harith, but I think they might think differently now, especially because so many changes that have happened. I think you wanna consider. Okay, I'm looking at the other heroes here.
Oh, good man.
Baksha. Okay, you do open up the CC, right? And but they pick up Jushin instead. All right, so it's gonna be a different approach. Verso, usually they pick up the Lapu-Lapu. They like the Arlet for Castle. There is a merit to picking up Fred and Arlet first 2 picks here for Verso, but I'm not sure if they're actually used to that. But this is the first time that Aurora will be picking the Jushin in Games of the Future. Yujong is actually also open on their
yeah. Did they
pick it up?
Did they not want the Lapu-Lapu then? Oh. Either way, Yujong could work too. Again, this was played quite a bit over in the EECA region. They're going to go ahead and pick up. Yeah, okay, they switch it for Lapu right now. Not locked in just yet, but the Hayabusa is the choice for the jungle, and it will be the Lapu-Lapu. So this is the second time now that we actually get to see the Hayabusa on here over on Stream A. It worked pretty well yesterday, right? We saw that last night. Yeah. But this time, yeah, in the hands of VERSO time.
Okay. So, because the CC is not open, you pick up, Lancer Esmeralda just is a natural pickup here coming out from Aurora Gaming. Already good first 3 picks here coming out from Aurora. But VERSO time, they can mend this. They can pick up the Kimmy, and that will kind of solve many of their problems. It will solve their mid lane problem, but it is banned out. So unfortunately for VERSO, that is not an option. I think they might just be left with a Farsa, which they kind of need to pick now because it will definitely be banned by Aurora Gaming. They pick up the Lunox instead. Which, I understand why they will pick it up though. It's a solid pickup as well.
All right, solid choice. I would say for the first phase for both teams, they both have their immediate pros. You know, I would say for VERSO time, very damage heavy though too. Good scaling if they can. The only thing that we have to kind of consider for VERSO time too is if in this Hayabusa Lancelot matchup, which we've seen so many times before, hopefully the Hayabusa has a better time early game rotating and getting potentially a kill early on. Like as soon as that shadow kill is available, now it might be a little bit like some would argue that maybe it's a little bit harder now that they nerfed the range on his shadows on the second skill, but you know, the pro players out there still able to utilize him pretty much to the same degree as post or pre-patch, and that's going to be fine. I think one of the hard parts though is again those last two picks, because you could be in a position where, again, your Lapu Lapu for Castle is just trying to do way too much. And one thing that Aurora Gaming likes to do, or Aurora Gaming Philippines, is they don't always have to fully commit. They are really good at kind of pushing and pulling with their opponents. And that's what the Jushin allows you to do perfectly. Not only that, but it's nearly impossible to kill a Esmeralda unless you have the itemization to deal with that, right? And then, of course, for Demon Kite on a Lancelot, you're able to go ahead and move around team fights easily and avoid a lot of setup or damage just with a Thorn Rose alone and just his mobility. So, you know, these are the things that VERSO wants to take in consideration. I think, again, they have good damage already between a Lunox and a Hayabusa, even to an extent Lapu Lapu, but I'm wondering what's their roam going to be to go ahead and protect them, but at the same time, what do they put in the gold lane? You know, now that we've seen this transition wolf of gold laners back to some more traditional ones being popped up. Now, you know, we saw the Wan previously for Hiko, but so far it's been, yeah, the Harith, the Granger still, the Wan, you know, some of these traditional marksmen coming back into these picks. And I don't know if it's completely based off the gold lane change or the gold cart change. That little bit of extra gold was at 40% now that they get off that gold cart. But even the fire goals still seem to do okay so far. I mean, we still need to see more though.
Okay, for VERSO, I'm going to be looking for their roamer probably here, so that they can keep this Lunox and Lapu Lapu kind of flex. No Grok, maybe they will be left with Cho. Gatatkacha is also open. You want to take that away from Aurora. At the same time, you're considering the Badang, which we saw yesterday and a little bit today. It's a very strong hero when you know how to use it. I think it's more of picking the Badang to take it away from Aurora, especially because they've already banned out the Hilda, so they're not that scared of that hero. Another hero might be the Khalid as their option for the roamer, but I think Badang and then Gatatkacha, then Khalid is the choices here. Of course, the Cho can be picked up by VERSO, but yeah, they pick up the Gatatkacha. This will leave the Badang open for Aurora Gaming. I wonder, you know what? I really like the potential of the X-Borg here for Aurora. Since it's just the Lunox. They can consider the Ruby, which will be swappable between Esmeralda and Ruby in the golden XP lane. So Badang as well as the Khalid will be the options here for Aurora Gaming, but I do feel like the Badang might be the better choice. We'll see what Aurora will decide to pick up.
Yeah, if they do lock these both in, that's pretty much all the damage and ground control they need, really. Like a Khalid and an Esmeralda alone are kind of a hassle to deal with, you know? Ruby can set things up, and there it is. Ruby's locked in, plus the Khalid. So crowd control wise, you have a lot of options here between the Ruby, the Khalid, and even the Jushin. VERSO time going for more of a damage-centric lineup, right? Hayabusa, if this Bruno's locked in, we know Bruno can work really well with certain lineups. You know, you can scale up pretty quickly too. I think he's still one of the faster scaling marksmen technically. And also you can knock down turrets pretty quickly too, but I don't know if they're going to lock this in just yet. They are hovering over it. The Gattacacho was great because I was, saying that they needed something to go ahead and protect this lineup. Now, Lapu Lapu can only do so much, so then you get a Gattacacho, and this is one of their better picks as well, historically in the previous matches that they've had, and it will be the Bruno that gets locked in here. So we're going to have, once again, a fighter versus marksman matchup in the gold lane.
Oh. I have not seen Bruno in quite a long time, and I will put it in the category of the strong lane gold laners, which means that it can actually be played as if it was a fighter. I wonder what will be the approach here for Aurora, as they will put the Ruby up against the Bruno. What this means is that the Ruby will not have a free lane, so the Bruno will also not get a free lane, unless, of course, the Ruby messes up completely, but I doubt that will be the case. Honestly, I think it will be dependent on the rotations. It's probably why Aurora picked up the Khalid, because now you have so much rotational speed. You can go to the EXP lane, you can go to the gold lane after clearing the first wave, especially because of your passive. You have passive wave clear, and you can actually help your side lanes because of that. So again, if Aurora plays this aggressively onto Light on this Khalid, the roam roll, it will give so much rewards for Aurora Gaming.
Well, here we go. We'll see how this early game starts out. If Light does what Light usually does, and that's play aggressive on this roam, especially the Khalid, builds an advantage, that's going to spell a bit of a disaster here for Verso time. Revitalize is already going to be used up. Now, Light doesn't have his, obviously. He's going with the Flicker on this Khalid. So many options to initiate fights here with that Raging Sandstorm. Once it's up, oh, so close. Koji quite low. Yue threading the needle on his HP here, but they're testing the limits in that mid lane.
Gonna be A-okay for now. Aurora Gaming has got a very strong mid lane duo as well. Woo.
Worth or not worth?
Okay, first blood in favor of Aurora, but a kill for the assassin. I think if you're Aurora, that's not worth it, especially because you have to commit your flicker anyways. You did kill the Lunox, which is not a difficult target to kill anyways. But I think the more devastating part is that you give it to Xeno. It's going to be dependent on how Xeno reacts, though.
Oof, is Xeno going to go for another? Okay, quick Sandguard here. Yeah, that's, like I said, that's Light. You know, I just said that when we got mid into the game. I was like, you know, Light likes to play pretty aggressive. So if he's going to go ahead and burn his Flicker and do that under turret, leave it to him to be the one to do that. So, again, they'll go ahead and get prepped up and ready for this first turtle of the game. Now that you have this level 4 and this minor, you know, this first blood or this... Oh, hold on. Kojik. Whoa, Kojik's actually going to get punished this time. So it looks like they want to force an interaction here for this turtle. Kojik goes down for the second time. This might be enough to just give Aurora the opportunity to take the turtle, because Xeno's got to go grab his purple buff.
Yeah. That's gonna be a very big win for Aurora, because the fact that Kojik has been taken out twice, and we're mentioning how Xeno should take advantage of that first blood, but let's see if our first kill that went in his way. Fortunately, they will not be able to capitalize on that. And Aurora Gaming not only collects a kill on Kojik, but they also get the turtle, forces the Brilliance. Yue, a little bit missed time with that ultimate, but it's okay. They're going to be alive for now. Xeno has to get out and will get out. Boro recalling in front of both Yue as well as Light. Quite ballsy out there, but will not be punished by Aurora.
Yeah, right now they're going to go in this side of the jungle of Xeno. Trying to take his orange. An AOG comes through. Verso, Xeno tries to get his buff, but it's not on him. Light does fall, and now Castle jumping into this fight. Yue's going to be able to dodge that Landshaker with the Flicker. I'm not sure if Edward's going to be able to get away with this. He does a Flicker, though. So he is fine. All that pressure towards the orange buff, just to continue on, you know, building up this little bit of lead that Aurora has, but Verso Time's not having it, man. They will fight back.
Okay. So, what we can say about Aurora Gaming is that they really make mistakes when it comes to inefficient movements around the map, especially when they have gotten early lead. They are good at oppressing their opponents, and I guess that's what they're doing now with Light. Way that they are scouting out where Boro is so that the Gadatkacha will always be busy, like minding his business. And this also makes it so that the Bruno will always have his, you know, he has to be looking over his shoulder all the time, because there could be a rotation from Light or from Demon Kite at any moment's notice.
Yeah, we'll see how this happens, but what you are seeing is just continued pressure on Verso Time's jungle. So Xeno's not going to have that purple buff. You can already see, too, Demon Kite is level 8, my dude. Level 8 to Xeno, just hitting level 6. So this is going to be another objective, another turtle going in the hands of Aurora Gaming. And, you know, this is, again, this is what we've seen them do. If they aren't winning fights across the board, they're taking resources elsewhere. And Aurora Gaming does this so quickly, and you know, it almost gets to a point where next thing you know, you're like, dang, how do they have this advantage? You know, it's not like we've been giving them kills or bodies or anything like that, but they're just across the map, finding that gold and that experience to go ahead and scale up. And you know, you see this, they almost have themselves 2,500, 3,000 gold lead just based off this. And it's only been a couple kills on both sides for the game.
Yeah.
Oh, Light. He could just Raging Sandstorm. Yep, he does. Sandstorm's on out of there.
Yeah.
Not sure if VERSO Time wants to pick a fight here in the mid lane, but it's just Aurora Gaming just kind of managing these waves and disengaging if they have to.
It's the importance of getting the early game lead for Aurora, and also the importance of losing Kojic twice in this game. You can see that there's no additional death from VERSO Time for the past, what, 4 minutes of the match, or maybe 3 minutes. Going 4 minutes, they have, it's already been kills for Aurora Gaming, but VERSO Time just can't move around the map. They are losing real estate here, and they even lose their gold laner. Now, that's definitely a big kill from Aurora.
Like you mentioned, you know, it's going to be difficult here with the Bruno. You're going to constantly be wondering where Aurora Gaming is, and now forcing the fight once again around the purple buff. There's a pull. Castle could be in trouble here. He does defensively flicker to the turret, so he's going to be able to survive. But Aurora Gaming comfortable. See if they start to put pressure on some of these tier 1 turrets after they got that bot one down. Light, given the information here, he's going to go ahead and just ride on through. We'll see if VERSO March can do some damage, but Raging Sandstorm right on point. UA now helping this fight. Light's going to go ahead and flicker defensively. Xeno jumps in with a shadow kill, popping off quite a bit of damage, but with that beacon, UA is going to be fine. He's basically the squishiest target they can go for, but
yeah,
didn't even need to burn the flicker.
It's got to be safe for now. I think if VERSO Time, we can wait for the latter portions of the game, maybe when Kojic already has a big damage boost from the combo, but it will take a lot of time before that happens. I think that they have to activate March now. Although March is a marksman, kind of needs a lot of items, there's no other source of damage from VERSO Time that they can depend on. This Hayabusa will pop off later on. You can see, UA, even after receiving the full combo, full duration of the Quad Shadow, just a Crimson Beacon is already enough for him to be alive.
Castle going to take a shot there too. I don't think he can escape this, even though the Braves fired. They're going to force the fight anyway under the mid. AOG trying to get out, but not enough. Boro falls. Conceal going to be used. Going up top. I'm offended on Xeno. Look at the damage from Dome and Kite on the Ruby with a solo kill against Xeno. Xeno entirely shut down on this Hayabusa, and that's exactly what I was talking about in the draft, man. You fall behind on the Hayabusa, you're going to have a rough time for the rest of the game. Beacon going to be dropped down. They have to burn the flicker for Kojic, and they'll do this. They'll take tier 1 in the mid.
Oh, great plays coming out from Aurora once again. The immediate punish at that, immediate conversion. After getting the teamfight win, they took down the mid lane turret and then killed off one of the jungle creeps for VERSO Time, and they're not stopping.
They just keep putting pressure in the jungle, and UA is actually going to get punished. VERSO Time has had enough of this. They say, give me my buff for Xeno, man. Aurora hasn't let up on their side of the jungle, but at least a kill going here to VERSO Time.
It's going to be a good reaction coming from VERSO Time. UA is actually a good target to have. 2 kills in one. Imagine if UA had 1 more kill, and that's a shutdown goal that they will be able to collect. That gave them a little bit of breathing space. Committing 5 of their heroes in that pickoff onto UA might look very desperate. Well, it is desperate, but VERSO Time needed that. Unfortunately, though, Demon Kite will not let anything slip. After that kill onto UA, he immediately went to the bottom lane, took out that turret, and converted for more gold and breathing space for Aurora Gaming themselves.
And you see what's happening here, Wolf. They're just trading objectives again. VERSO Time scraping up, trying to catch up on Xeno. Light's going to go ahead and zone them out away from this Lord, so it's going to be secured by Aurora Gaming. And just like that, now forcing a fight here in this side of the jungle. Not sure if they're going to follow through. They do get a Brilliance out. Castle landing down the land, Shaker there. Just keeping them an opportunity to disengage. Now this Lord making its way down that bottom side. Aurora goes in with a pull. They're able to find Kojic with the I'm Offended. The Holy Shield already popping here before the Lord makes its way, and now on time, Aurora will go for the tier 2 in the mid. We'll see what Verso Time's able to do. Unfortunately, this Lunox has been shut down for this game, really not able to go and fight in any of these fights. Right now, they're pulling these minions off to try to maintain that shield. Lord finally makes its way down bottom. Demon Kite jumps in with the Thorn Rotas and the Punctured. He's able to find March just perfectly and escapes as well. A huge pull with the I'm Offended coming out from Doming Kite. And now they can just take their pickings against Verso Time. Zeno can't do anything. He throws out a shadow kill and watches from the fountain as game 1 goes to Aurora Gaming of Philippines in under 11 minutes.
A very dominant game that we've seen once again. We expect Aurora Gaming to have the upper hand versus Verso Time, but not like this. This is such a dominant win for Aurora. And what we learned from this game is that you just can't give Aurora Gaming or any top team one of the best heroes in the meta game. For example, giving them both the Jushin as well as the Lancelot might have been the mistake here. Because I felt like even after the quote-unquote nerfs on the Jushin, it's still very much viable. In fact, some people might argue that this could be a mini buff on the Jushin, and you can see how strong it was. And the Lancelot, of course, strongest jungler right now, untouched by the nerfs or buffs of the recent patch. Demon Kite back on his winning ways with this Lancelot. 3-0 and 5, the KDA for this guy. Unstoppable from the jungle position. And I think that the whole of Aurora Gaming is just way too